Welcome, folks, to the next episode of BattleTech Simplified, as part of our series here on the DM Shockman Institute YouTube channel. I'm Michael Shockman, I'll be your host and commentator, and in today's episode, we will be covering a battle mech, which since its inception early on in the Golden Age, has been considered one of the finest examples of a successful fusion of maneuverability and firepower. Today we'll be covering the Shadowhawk. A multi-role battle mech developed in 2550 during the Golden Age, the Shadowhawk is a powerful fusion of maneuverability and firepower. With a mix of long-range and short-range weapons, good maneuverability thanks to jump jets, and excellent endurance, the Shadowhawk has long been regarded as one of the best mechs in its weight class. The Shadowhawk is equally adept whether commanding a reconnaissance company or serving as a spotter for heavy and assault lances. Lang Industries had technically introduced the Shadowhawk many years prior to 2550, but this version of the mech suffered from a debilitating fault in its armor plating. The line was recalled, and a major overhaul was accomplished in 2550 without any difficulties, which solved the issue for most, but not all, Shadowhawk models. This resumption of production therefore is regarded by many historians as the true debut of the design. For the next few centuries, Lang continued to produce the Shadowhawk for the Star League and the Great Houses, respectively, until their factory was destroyed with the start of the Succession Wars. Afterwards, Earthworks Incorporated remained the only manufacturer within the Inner Sphere to continue producing Shadowhawks from their factory on Callaway 6. While in the periphery, Majesty Metals and Manufacturing on Gunianshire built these mechs for the Magistry of Canopus and other prospective buyers. As many of the secrets of Lost Tech were rediscovered, Earthworks was able to create an updated variant of the Shadowhawk, the SHD-5M, in time for the clan invasion. Starting in the summer of 3066, Vicor Industries began promoting their Project Phoenix to various weapons manufacturers across the Inner Sphere, promising improved versions of venerable designs like the Shadowhawk. Earthworks, Callan Industries, and Comstar all expressed interest in redesigning the Shadowhawk. However, the latter two lacked appropriate facilities to build the mech, and so, as at the suggestion of the Vicor group, contracted Odin Manufacturing on Austraces to build the components, while Callan finished the process at its factories in and on Nanking and Talon. The compelling confederation later acquired the rights to build Earthworks' SHD-7M Shadowhawk variant shortly before the Jihad, which they then sublicensed to Vandenberg Mechanized Industries to produce. The Shadowhawk, as mentioned above, carries a varied but effective mix of weapons. Primary among them is the 80mm Armstrong J11 autocannon, that being an autocannon 5, mounted in the left torso along with 1 ton of ammo. This weapon, as well as the Holly LRM-5 launcher with 1 ton of reloads in the right torso, provide the Shadowhawk with good long-range striking capabilities. When the Shadowhawk closes to shorter ranges, it can bring to bear its Holly SRM-2 launcher mounted in the head and its right arm mounted Martel medium laser, which can generally finish off most mechs of its own weight class or smaller that might have survived the mix of autocannon and LRM fire. 1 ton of ammunition for the SRM-2 is kept in the Shadowhawk's center torso, while 12 heatsinks provide decent cooling. For hand-to-hand combat, the Shadowhawk features a pair of Lang manipulative hands, regarded as among the strongest models ever built prior to the fall of Star League. The ability to grasp and carry objects greatly assists in its ability to take part in raiding missions. While 9.5 tons of armor provide excellent protection, early models of the Shadowhawk suffered from the aforementioned defective armor pressure plates, especially in the legs. When struck, these plates were liable to sever the myomer bundles which governed movement, rendering the mech completely immobile. Although the mass recall of 2550 largely solved this issue, a small number of Shadowhawks were not fixed and continued to see service in battle, and on occasion this defect led to the loss of entire battles. To round out their capabilities, 3 jump jets split between the center, left, and right rear torsos give the Shadowhawk an adequate jumping distance of 90 meters. While limited in the distance traveled, it gives the mech an edge when engaged in close combat, and supplements its cruising speed of 54 kph per hour. Perhaps the most valued component of the Shadowhawk as far as the pilots are concerned is the Sparrow 300J life support system. Among the most advanced ever devised, the Sparrow can keep a pilot comfortable up to 30% longer than similar systems in other mechs. This is especially important on extended missions where a more relaxed pilot is a better pilot. As for my personal feelings on the Shadowhawk, ladies and gentlemen, I have, like the Hunchback, but in a different way, I have fielded the Shadowhawk in many cases, both in terms of tabletop and in terms of the video game, the computer game. And I have to say that it, more so than even the Vindicator in a previous episode, as I mentioned, that it was a all-around thing. More than anything, I think that the Shadowhawk is the king example, the prime example of a jack-of-all-trades mech. But more so, it does everything. It can do all the things that mech, that the Vindicator can, for the most part, but that much better. I think that for the tonnage and for the price, anybody who can afford one should take a Shadowhawk, hands down. Thank you so much, folks, for joining me on today's episode, as this is the final episode in our season on medium mechs. Hope you have enjoyed this current season on medium mechs, and stay tuned for next season, which will probably be coming here pretty soon, where we start into the heavy mechs of BattleTech. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, leaving a like and a comment. I really appreciate it. Also, be sure to check out the links down in the description. Thank you so much. I'm Michael Schockman. I've been your host and commentator. And until next time, guys, remember, keep it real, keep it safe, keep it healthy. And remember, as always, no guts, no galaxy. Later, everybody.